Thank you very much. It's 11:30 p.m. in India, and it is going to continue until 1:30 a.m. as per our time. Great. Then we have a another session at 6 o'clock India time, and you will be having late evening. Good evening from Delhi, where it is 11:30 p.m. late night, and good morning everyone who are joining from America and Canada. Uh, uh, we would like to thank our sponsor, ProQuest. I welcome Austin for their support and contribution. So, welcome Austin. Thank you so very much for all the support that you have provided for this conference. I'm Nabi Hasan, heading the library system at the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. It is 2026 QS ranked #1 institution from Government of India. It's my privilege to be moderator for this panel, and our topic is Open Science Across Borders, India versus US Institutional Approaches. Although the title talks about India versus US institutional approaches, but we will also be able to listen the Canadian approach from Catherine. So Catherine will be joining us at the end of the session. And then you will also have an opportunity to share your perspective as well at the end of the session. So we are very pleased to have with us Ginny Pannabecker, Assistant Dean and Director Research Collaboration and Engagement at Virginia Tech Libraries. I'm very happy to share that I have your friend here in Gandhinagar with me, Julia. So Julia is with us, and we have in-person panel discussion tomorrow on like AI aspects followed in different institutions. So I was just discussing about you on dinner in India, and it was very nice to listen very good things about you. Now the question arises, why this topic and why now? So to answer this, I would say that open science has become a central theme globally, not just pushing for open access to publications, but embracing openness in data, in infrastructure, research evaluation, reproducibility, collaborative platforms, citizen science, and more. Some recent development, like in India, we have seen major policy initiatives like One Nation, One Subscription. You may be interested in knowing about One Nation, One Subscription. It is a national consortia. It is something unique which has happened for the first time in the world at such a large scale. We have equitable access to whole of the country of 30 top publishers. And recently we have added Web of Science as well from Clarivate, which basically helps democratize access to paywall journal from institutions nationally. Also, we have our research foundations, which are aiming now to strengthen, regulate, and provide financial support for more inclusive research ecosystem. There has been easing of procurement rules for scientific research in India, which is also helping in the open access movement. And a recent survey of faculty in India and the US showed that while there is growing awareness of reproducibility, transparency, and open science practices, there remain gaps in incentives, resources, and culture. This I have taken from archive. Globally, funders and governments in the US are pushing policies requiring open access to publications and data. For example, US government funded research must meet certain open data or should follow fair data principle criteria. There is increasing interest in transformative agreements, preprint servers, open peer review, and new models of evaluation beyond traditional journal metrics. So this is a timely moment to compare where India is and where the US is, and we will also be able to see the Canadian or other perspectives as well. what still needs to work and how institutions in both countries or maybe more countries are responding. So what we aim to cover in this panel is over the next 90 minutes or so, our flow will be first my presentation on India's approach towards open access policies, institutional practices, successes and challenges will be shared. Then Ginny's presentation on the US perspective, uh, like regulatory mandate, institutional strategies and recent trends. She will be sharing her experiences. Then we will open the floor for discussion and where Catherine is also likely to share Canadian perspective. Your questions, comments, examples from your own institution or countries, we will welcome at the end of the session. We want this to be interactive, not just a one-way flow of presentation. So I would request all the attendees to share your perspective, your institutional approaches. Few of the housekeeping items here to share. During the presentation portions, please keep your audio muted. Feel free to use the chat to ask questions. I will keep an eye on it and we will reserve time to address those in the discussion. At the end, I will invite participants to share their institutional or national experiences, especially if you are from other countries, so you too can enrich the conversation. We will wrap up with some summarizing thoughts so that we leave with actionable ideas. So without further ado, I will begin with Indian perspective on open science, how India is approaching national policy, institutional practices, what has been achieved, what the current challenges are. After that, I will invite Ginny to share the US perspective. Thank you again to all of you for joining this morning or this late evening from India. I look forward to a very enriching plenary two session, and I would like to share my slides now. And I hope my slides are visible. Yes?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So I'm going to share this open science across borders and Indian perspective. Thank you again, NDLTD and USETDA for giving me the opportunity to moderate this session and also share my perspective as well. So as part of this presentation, I'm going to cover some of the items here given, like I will be, because this is the first presentation of the panel, so I would like to cover some of the general aspects as well, like I would be discussing open science with global context, and then I will be sharing my thoughts on open science in India policy and initiatives. Then I will also be sharing my thoughts what we have been planning or doing at IIT Delhi, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. What are our research data and repository practices? Then I will also be sharing comparative snapshot, although without Ginny's presentation, the snapshot may not be complete. But still, I would like to share in one slide some thoughts. Then what could be the role of libraries and leaders in open science? And what are the benefits, challenges, opportunities, or you can say what are the different key actions and uh, further what we can do in this regard. So open science is basically an umbrella term which has the potential to increase the quality of science and make the entire scientific process transparent. So by making science more connected to societal needs, and by promoting equal opportunities for all, like scientists, policymakers, or citizens. Open science can be a true game changer in bridging the science, technology, and innovation gaps and within countries and fulfilling the human rights to science. So then if we talk about some of the key pillars of open science, this has been taken from the UNESCO. So we have open scientific knowledge where publications, research data, or software that has been released under an open license are considered. Then we have open science infrastructure, which is part of one of the pillars of open science. Then we have societal actors as well, and also open dialogues with other knowledge systems. So this is open science taxonomy. When we talk about open science taxonomy, it covers open access, open data, open access routes, or open reproducible research, or open science evaluation, open science policies. So there are a lot of things which are covered as part of open science taxonomy. Then, as far as the core values and guiding principles of open science are concerned, so we see under values, there are quality and integrity parameters, then collective benefits, equity and fairness, diversity and inclusiveness. As far as the principles are concerned, we have transparency, scrutiny, critique, and reproducibility principles, and others as well, like equality of opportunity, flexibility, sustainability. Then as far as the areas of open science are concerned, or open science service areas are concerned, uh, we do promoting a common understanding, then we help developing an enabling policy environment. We promote fostering a culture of open science, and we are investing in human resources, and we are promoting cooperation as well. So this is promotion open science platform research, like through discovery, analysis, writing, publication, outreach, and assessment. As far as the collaboration with key stakeholders of open science are concerned, we are considering academia, industry, government, and civil society. And then there we can see we have further segregations, like in academia, we have researchers, or maybe in industry, we have startups, or maybe from government, we consider funding organizations, etc. And as far as the civil society is concerned, the individuals or citizens of the societies are contributing. So with this background of open science in general, I would like to cover the Indian perspectives now. So many of you may not be knowing that the number of publications coming from India is very large. You can see India is the third largest producer of scientific publication, and India is ninth largest as far as the data from Web of Science is concerned. And it ranked number 15 and 17 globally as far as the open access publications in journals or open access repositories, especially Open Door, is concerned. And the contribution of India to open access journal in the world is, although as far as the DOAJ is concerned, it is 2.57, but there is large number of contributions which are unaccounted, because the Indian repositories or journals are still not registered with DOAJ or Open Door or other ROR, etc. repositories. So as far as the SJR is concerned, the India is represented by 469 journals, and with 190 being open access journals. As far as the institutional repositories or open access journal, open courseware are concerned, they are rapidly growing from whole of the country, from different parts. And India has taken several initiatives in the adoption and implementation of open science for promoting the scholarly communication activities. So one of the important entity in India is Department of Science and Technology, which has come up with the National Data Sharing and Accessibility Policy. And the purpose is to promote data sharing among government departments, organizations, and make public data more usable for national planning, development, and awareness. And in India, we have a Right to Information Act, through which you can get the information from government department. So Apart from that, there is a provision to enable proactive release of data so that data is more available and it is made available timely and in a useful manner. There is a body in India known as Indian Council of Agricultural Research, which is dealing with agriculture and allied sciences databases. And they have also adopted open access policy, and their guidelines are very comprehensive. And these are a set of standards for effective management of research data in the institute. And these cover how Indian Council of Agriculture Research expects institutes to handle research data to ensure integrity, security, and availability. Another important agency in India is Indian Council of Social Science Research, and it outlines the process for researchers to deposit their social science research data into ICSSR data service for long-term preservation and wider use. Like there are different projects which are awarded by this agency, and then the data can be secured for further use in the ICSSR data repository. Another important component in India is the Department of Biotechnology, and they have data storage access and sharing policy 2019. And this helps basically in sharing of biological data, especially high volume, high thoughtful data generated within India. So then India also has Science, Technology and Innovation Policy, STIP 2020 by the Government of India, and it has a lot of focus for promoting open access and open science. And it helps in open science, it helps in open data policy, it helps in open access, providing open access to resources, including open educational resources. And one of the most important development of 2025 from January 1, the government of India has implemented One Nation, One Subscription, through which the whole country has been given equitable access. Like my institution is the primary institution, number one institution. So we were already having access to so many resources. But now with this One Nation, One Subscription, the government has given access to the less known institutions as well, equitable access. So these DBT, Department of Biotechnology, Department of Science and Technology, provide funding for research, and they now expect that the outcome of the projects or the publication should be made available in open access form. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in India is another important body which has mandated for many things to be made available in the open access form. International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, Hyderabad in India, promotes sharing and disseminating the research information related to agriculture in open access form. So, continuing with the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, they are helping in making the publications or research data available and to be placed under open access. This is Nation Open Access Policy of India, although it is in draft form, version 3, but it has a lot of implication, positive implication to promote open access movement in India. And it is helping us to make our things available in open access form. So this is the consortium about which I was talking about, One Nation, One Subscription. And this has given access, equitable access to many institutions, as you can see on my screen. And it has given access to 6,500 member institutions from the Government of India. And there are 31 publishers on board, including all the reputed publishers like Elsewhere, Wiley, Taylor and Francis, ACS, whatever important publisher you name, those publishers are available there. So this basically One Nation, One Subscription ONOS initiative is helping to bring the global best knowledge and scholarship to the last mile in the country at negligible cost. And it aligns with the vision of the National Education Policy 2020 of India, And it also aligns with the self-reliant and academically, scholarly developed India, and it is presenting vision of India for 2047. India became independent in 1947, so it is presenting a vision for like 100 years by fostering a robust research and innovation ecosystem in India. So the vision of the National Research Foundation is to promote equitable access and open access, promote open access policies of India. Another important entity from India is National Digital Library of India. As you can see from the slogan here, one library, all of the India. So this is the website or portal from the Ministry of Education from the Government of India, through which equitable access has been provided to whole of the India. Large data set in different languages have been provided through this web portal. So this is one of the largest electronic thesis and dissertation repository of the world, and you can see 6 lakh theses have been made available, full text PhD thesis, and these are in public domain. I think this is one of the largest contributor to the electronic thesis and dissertation. The purpose is to provide open access to all these resources, and these are accessible in full text from all the government institutions, higher education institutions of India. Kirsi Course is another important institution repository of India, which is covering agricultural and allied sciences, and it provides access to thesis and dissertation not only of research but also of master degree as well. So we had a G20 summit in India, where all the important countries participated, and this G20 recommendations came with some important announcement, and they recognize the importance of evolving approaches to providing immediate and free access to appropriate publicly funded research publications, and they recommend establishing interoperability standards that would allow interlinking among various national as well as international repositories to expand access to publicly funded research output. And they are providing guidelines for the frameworks for research assessment and evaluation. So if we try to align what are the global trends in the world and how India is trying to align, so this basically One Nation, One Subscription initiative comes at a time when open access publishing is gaining momentum worldwide, and many countries are coming up with open access policies. As you can see in my slide, there is a Planes initiative from the European coalition, which is promoting open access mandates for publicly funded research to be freely available immediately upon publication. Then US open access policies, the US has mandated that from 2026, I think Ginny will be covering all these aspects, that federally funded research must be freely accessible without embargo. Then China has adopted policies favoring open access to enhance the global reach of its research. And Scholarly Publishing and Academic Research Coalition, which has MIT and Harvard type of important institution, they are promoting pay-per-view or open access model. And other countries like Egypt, Uruguay, and many more are promoting national open access agreements, and they are negotiating for the country for wide access and promoting open access movement. So as far as the vision for open access transformation in India is concerned, we have on the one hand, One Nation, One Subscription, which is expanding access through a national consortium. Then we are trying to promote Indian journals and repositories. We are trying to increase the visibility and access of Indian research through Diamond Open Access and Green Open Access models. And we are trying to make use of new research evaluation methods, like lesser dependent on journals. So you can see growth of institutional repositories in India is increasing. There are just 138 repositories which are shown here under ROAR, But this is not the exact number. There are thousands of repositories in India. In fact, India has close to like 1200, 1300 universities. And all the universities are having institutional repositories where they are uploading all the important content. But they are not registered with the ROR or DOR. So that is why the number shown is less here, but actual number is quite high. So you can see here that as far as this repository is concerned, India's number here given is 138, but actual number is more than 1000. So open access is picking momentum in India. Here you can see the number is continuously increasing. This is the data of 17 September 2025 taken from the Scopus. So you can say this is continuously increasing. So since the data of 2025 and 26 is not complete here, it is still developing. So this figure will go up in many fold. And as far as my institution is concerned, like Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, although my faculty members prefer or researchers prefer to publish in a subscription-based journal, but still, their faith is increasing in open access publications as well. And now you can see close to 15% of our total publications are in open access journals. And this is the latest data of this month only. So there is a continuous growth of open access journals in India. As on 17 September 2025, you can see the number of journals, open access journals in India is continuously increasing day by day. So as far as the open access engagement activities at my institute at IIT Delhi is concerned.
Your call may be recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. Enhance.
Yeah. So, Ginny, you can stop me if I'm exceeding the time because you have given me little bit freedom freedom of time. So I'm little bit covering in detail because we
please
have
go
enough
ahead.
time.
I think it was just an open mic. Please go ahead.
Right. Thank you very much. So, as far as the open access engagement activities at different institution is concerned, and my institution is also reflecting those activities, we are building and maintaining open access institution repository to provide self-storage service, and we are raising awareness of open access among researchers and advocates for the participation. We are publishing open access journals and we are providing open publishing services. We are helping our people to make their publications available in open access, maybe using gold open access or green open access or maybe diamond open access as well. We are also helping in funding for open access efforts. Then there are digitizing activities of the historical collections and providing those to public in open access mode. We are helping in participation for the development of open access policies. And we are also managing and monitoring the institute's APC fees, like where the fee is required, how that can be waived off, or how the transformative agreement can help us, or how the token system can help us. So we are supporting the management of authors' rights as well. Open Access Week is one of the major important activities that the Indian institutions are promoting, and we are celebrating the Open Access Week. We are involving the faculty members and research scholars, and we are creating awareness of open access through presentations, and we are displaying posters, and we are inviting people to explore their ideas during the Open Access Week. For example, the last year's theme was community over commercialization and prioritize approaches to open access scholarship. So basically, these type of activities promote open access publications or open science or making things available publicly or making people aware to go for diamond open access preferably and other modes of open access. Then, as far as the implementing responsible research assessment in India is concerned, towards responsible research assessment, we are shifting from quantity to quality-based assessment. We are recognizing diverse research outputs beyond journal articles. We are training assessor to apply fair evaluation practices. We are helping increase strategically and aligning with research funding and funding bodies. And we are making responsible use of international university ranking frameworks, including QS ranking, Times Higher Education ranking, URBU ranking, etc. As far as the support to open access publishing services are concerned, we are making use of transformative agreement, or you can say read and publish agreement, like we have Cambridge University Press or other like publishers, which are helping us in APC waiver so that our publications are publicly available. We have institutional repository using DSpace now. 9.1 is also available, but this is more stable version. We are uploading PhD thesis and other faculty publication and other resources in our institutional repository. We are regularly organizing outreach activities to support open access solutions, and we are promoting open access resources through our institute website. So these are some of the popular journals which are open access journals, and most of these journals are like funding board, Government of India agencies, and these are very popular journals which have space in Scopus and Web of Science databases, and they have some impact factor as well. So this open access is helping us in many ways, like it is helping us in fair and transparent use of taxpayers' money, because ultimately these government agencies are using taxpayers' money. And it is helping us in free and fast access to scholarly information. People are able to know the new methods or new knowledge because the knowledge is available in public domain. The visibility is highly increased, and we are able to make efficient use of our research and innovation. So these are some of the popular platforms which are being used in this part of the world as well. And these are some of the important softwares which are used for like institutional repositories or digital data repositories, or you can say digital archive like DSpace or CCAN. These are two popular software tools which are used for making the resources available in public domain freely. So now the open research data repositories are also becoming popular, not only like repositories with full text and other text format is available, but the data repositories are also becoming popular. And there are some funding bodies which are like forcing that you should have data repository, only then your project may be considered or accepted. So then there are further development of open research data repositories in India, like development of data policy at the institutional level, creating awareness, openness, practical and benefits of repository, and then implementation of fair open data repositories. Then one of the important centers in India is InflibNet, or Information and Library Network Center, which is the apex body for supporting such activities. So they have created a national research data repository, and this is a centralized platform for managing, storing, and sharing research data. And it allows institutions to create parent dataverse, customize their homepage, and organize data through sub-dataverse. And researchers can submit metadata and deposit data sets in various formats like CSV, TSV, RData, and SPSS. So this NRDR also provides usage statistics, which is counter compliant, and you can track data set engagement using this portal. This is the portal's screenshot. Then data.gov.in is basically a portal where you can say a lot of data is available for freely use or download from the Government of India. And this is another important website where you can see a lot of data on biological sciences. And this is another portal, India Data Portal, which has data on different subjects, which is available in public domain. And then India's space research program is very popular after NASA. So a lot of data is also available about Indian Earth observation. And this is like my institution, IIT Delhi, where a lot of papers are now being made available through preprint repositories. And some of these preprint repositories you can see are indexed by Scopus as well, and you are getting citations and you are getting visibility as well. As of now, I have shown 3,400 preprint for my institution, IIT Delhi. So then there are other popular preprint repositories in India to support the open access movement like India Archive, Agri Archive, or ePrinted, Indian Institute of Science, and many other preprint repositories. So these are some of the other repositories which are popular in the world, and the Indians are also making use of these repositories to upload their data and to improve the citations and to improve the visibility because data is available in public domain. So I think why we are seeing these developments, because the reviewing patterns are very difficult for the subscription-based journals, and you can see this is the last Olympics screenshot. One person this shot the gold, and this person this shot the silver. So sometimes the reviewers are reviewing the paper in a way that delaying the reviewing process. So sometimes your paper acceptance is taking too much time, as you can see from this picture, and that is how it is demoralizing. So people are now opting for open review. At least they are able to see the progress of their work, many open review journals are available. Sometimes paper is going to a person who is neither seeing nor listening nor smelling, because the person or the reviewer or the managing editor may be busy with some other work. So with this background, I think Ginny will be highlighting some of these things, but this is a slide which gives some input that in India, the policy drivers are Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2020, One Nation, One Subscription, NDSAP policy. And in US, you have US OSTP 2022 memo, then you have NIH OA policy, and you are following the FAIR principles. As far as the repositories in India are concerned, we have Shod Ganga, which has 600,000 PhD theses. Then we have National Digital Library of India. We have specialized repositories for agriculture and other fields. On the other side, we have PubMed Central, DIAN, Dataverse, NIS repositories from US. And the India share in open access is close to 23% in Web of Science, 20% in Scopus, comparing US, which has a very high compliance for open access. So there are challenges of funding, awareness, and repository sustainability as far as India is concerned. So here the role of libraries and leaders in open science is very important. We need to promote open access policies, fair data principles, and we need to help authors know their rights. And we need to develop or maintain institution repositories. We need to negotiate transformative agreement with the publisher to help our people to make the content available in public domain. We need to have some cross-border knowledge exchange arrangement to support equitable access. And India prioritizes democratization. And together, like India and US, we can have models to strengthen the global open access science ecosystem. So key actions for the funders. Funders may support diamond or platinum open access models. They can invest in regional infrastructure and multilingual discovery tools. They can help for local journals to improve editorial quality and visibility. and they can fund across borders for collaboration and best practice sharing, and they can encourage OA policies in education and science across borders. And they can also move beyond mandates to sustained engagement, and they can advocate for equity-focused OA policies, and the government can align national science policy with open access rules. So with this, I would like to conclude that my discussion on open science across borders, India versus US institution approaches, basically showed that while India emphasizes democratization of knowledge through national policies like One Nation, One Subscription, whereas the US drives transparency through federal mandates such as the OSTP memo and fair data, both face shared challenges of sustainability, equity, and research evaluation. Together, their complementary strengths, India's inclusivity and the US infrastructure can shape a stronger global ecosystem. Let us carry this momentum forward, working across borders to ensure that open science truly serves as a common good for all. So open science is strongest when borders disappear. Let us work together to make knowledge a true global public good. So I wish to acknowledge all the resources that I have taken from different sources, and thank you very much for your attention. Yeah. So Ginny, you may go ahead with your presentation. Thank you very much for joining this morning from US. And Ginny is Assistant Dean and Director Research, Collaboration and Engagement at Virginia Tech Libraries. Thank you very much, and over to you, Ginny.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to share a few thoughts with you all. So let me share my screen here and put this in presenting mode. So thank you so much, Nabi, for covering I think the broad overview of open science, and also both India and US institutional, governmental, and community approaches. So I'll address a few additional examples from my experiences, particularly from the library's point of view. And in line with the panel goals, I'll focus on national legislation and policy, open access and open science platforms, and collaborative initiatives that help promote open research practices, obstacles and opportunities for promoting open science, and in particular, libraries and library leaders' roles and opportunities for promoting open science. So in this first, I'll highlight just a few policies and related legislation in the United States, which I'm just realizing I somehow have one of my screenshots backwards. So I'll fix that before I share these slides. But you have links to each of these. I believe Nabi already mentioned most of these. So key open access and open research policies in the US in 2013, the OSTP, or Office of Science and Technology Policy Memo, required large agencies with high funding levels to create open access policies and public access requirements. So from that, we've had significantly increased open access publications and deposit of data and scholarship from NIH-funded projects, NSF-funded projects, and a variety of other agencies. In looking into this more to refresh my memory, it's been a while since I've looked at that particular memo. I had actually never known that this, or had forgotten perhaps that this started with a We the People petition, and of course came from many years prior, organization by researchers and public advocacy groups that wanted to see more public access for scientific research that's funded by public tax dollars in the United States. And there was legislation behind this policy, the America Competes Reauthorization Act. So promoting, again, the idea that Nabi highlighted as well, the open access to research and open science practices make it more possible for us to innovate by building on each other's ideas and learning more about new possibilities. I have in the middle here a mention for the NSPM 33 memo in 2022. So this is related to security requirements for research in the United States, and in some ways is creating more guidelines to ensure known authorship and known identity of researchers that are funded and included in U.S. funding, U.S. agency funding. It has the additional result of increasing use of identifiers for individuals. So one of the most common and currently the identifier that best fits the requirements in this policy is ORCID. Many of you may be familiar with this. So because this is now an increased requirement by funding agencies, it's also giving us the opportunity to increase adoption of ORCID by researchers, which also helps promote sharing research widely and openly and connecting that across platforms. The third screenshot there is from the Office of Science and Technology Policy, OSTP Nelson memo in 2022, which Nabi also mentioned. And we are now starting to see the policies for new public access policies coming out of that, which has greatly increased requirements for immediate public access rather than 1-year embargo, which was the 2013 requirement, across more agencies, all agencies now, instead of only those that have a particular funding level. And it increases access in other ways as well, requiring more access to the data or research results behind publications, as well as requiring these to be in machine readable format and with greater accessibility compliance. So in discussions about these topics, we often come across the mention of the federal purpose license. So I've also noted that here, which I've learned in looking into this in more detail recently, has been in place since 1976 and was kind of one of the original legislation or codes, US codes to and regulations to promote requirements of access to federally funded research in the United States. So I have a few examples here, only a couple. We're going to have an open floor discussion after this, so I'm hoping to hear from you all which organizations, infrastructure that you would like to highlight that you think is really important. But these are a few infrastructure and platforms that are important in the United States for increasing open research, open science, and access to research results. So from US government agencies, there are increasingly data portals such as science.gov across agencies in the US government, across research results and technology policy there. Transportation.gov is another example of just one specific agency data portal from the United States agency. And then I have two nonprofit organizations that help support coalitions of researchers, organizations, the public, and government agencies as well as publishers and other stakeholders in developing guidelines and practices and infrastructure to promote open science practices. So one of those is the Center for Open Science. They've promoted top guidelines, promoting ways for journals, funders, and societies to think about ways to increase reproducibility and replicability of science. So, for example, registering protocols prior to a study. Some journals require this now, others promote this as an option. And Center for Open Science also promotes this as an option for researchers to do on their own. By registering one's research protocol, you can provide some accountability to adhere to that protocol when you publish your research. And if you deviated from that protocol at any point, which can happen, as we all know, by registering it, this promotes transparent communication about what deviations may have occurred, why, and just increases the explanation of why you made any changes, and if so, what they were, and how that impacts the research that you're publishing. Spark, which Nabi also mentioned, which is great, provides a coalition, an opportunity for many organizations, higher education, as well as other research institutions, to work together to understand federal public access policies, such as this resource they have here that helps track and compare publication sharing policies and data sharing policies from US agencies. They also provide many other ways for institutions to work together to submit public comments, for example, on upcoming policies, or to advocate for other coordinated approaches to providing open educational resources, open publishing, and other strategies. These are two I've already mentioned, but a couple other collaborative initiatives in the United States that have resulted in other ways of promoting open science and open research, including open scholarship in the humanities and social sciences, which can be less common than in the sciences. At least the sciences have been, this model fits better with their traditional methods for sharing research and sharing data. And there need to be developed still more models for humanities, arts, and social sciences that are appropriate to those disciplines. So one example here of that is Tome. Although they publish across disciplines, this is an example of an initiative with 3 organizations that partnered to develop open scholarly monograph publishing models, many of which are continued now by universities or library publishing initiatives that are funding and producing open monographs. Helios, or the Higher Education Leadership Initiative for Open Scholarship, provides support at the university leadership level. So this requires support from university leadership as well as any other components of university areas, such as libraries or offices of research, to commit to promoting open science and open scholarship, and provides a network to share ideas and increase strategies across institutions. And as mentioned already, Center for Open Science and Spark are there linked there as well. So I'll cover a couple opportunities and obstacles to promoting open science. Some of these will overlap with what Nabi shared before. Ongoing obstacles include just the nature of culture change, with busy academics, all of us becoming increasingly busy in today's time-strapped world, developing an academic culture of embedding open science and open research practices, both in training undergraduates and graduate students, as well as in faculty and researcher workflows, is always a challenge. And this includes across looking at ways to do this across disciplinary differences that are appropriate to the type of publications or creative works different disciplines produce, as well as different methods of scholarship, whether that's primarily individual, or collaborative, primarily shared online or in other formats. In the United States right now, but also at any time, we have shifting priorities. When we have changes in administrations or changes in legislation, changes in the kind of approach, public opinion across the United States, that can result in shifting priorities for what research can be funded, the level of support for international collaboration, and our approaches to research security. So at this moment in time, there are some increases in some of these areas, including challenges for international collaboration in terms of who can come to the United States, and challenges for addressing research security and how researchers in the United States can conduct research elsewhere. However, overall, there continues to be broad support for wide collaboration across research and researchers and scholars in higher education and other research institutions, and by and large, for innovation purpose across business, industry, and in many ways, the government as well. Cost is always a major factor, and part of that is building technical infrastructure. Although there have been many advances in that, there's still a lot to do to provide this in a way that's scalable, especially as we increasingly have more big data that requires increasing storage. Scholarly communication system and publishing models. Nabi highlighted many details here. Navigating whether to provide open access through green open access. I think this organization is definitely a community that's promoting free and institutionally supported opportunities, free to researchers, institutionally supported and community supported opportunities for making your work open access through electronic theses and dissertations, but also through repositories and institutional public open access policies, for example. But we still have many challenges with increasing article processing charges and other costs in our publishing system and scholarly communication. Some opportunities now are there's increasing adoption by researchers with now many years of training provided to graduate students, and sometimes undergraduate students, as those researchers move into faculty positions. We're seeing increasing familiarity with open science practices, open research practices as part of everyday workflow. It's more common practice to look for open access publishing opportunities, to share one's data by depositing a data set and getting a citation for that. We're seeing increasing incentives and requirements from funders, publishers, and government that help promote these practices. And we have many opportunities to continue funding for research across topics with less restrictions. We have opportunities in this area, many opportunities to increase public involvement in awareness and use of research, as well as their involvement in conducting research. So we've seen many increases in citizen science or public history or public research initiatives. Increasing this increases public investment in research, public support for research, and increases use of research in endeavors beyond academia. We have opportunities to update academic incentives for promotion and tenure in the United States, to reward those who engage in collaborative research, who engage in research internationally, who engage the public in their research and make their research available to the public, not only by making it open access, but also by providing opportunities for public partners, industry partners to work with them and learn from them about their research. We have opportunities to increase the interoperability of research that we publish or provide in our repositories, including use of ORCID to connect individuals across platforms, use of research organization registry identifiers to connect affiliation across platforms. And one newer, it's not super new, but one newer partnership I wanted to highlight that some of you may already be aware of and involved in is one of SPARC's endeavors, which is the United States the United States Repository Network. So this is an opportunity to connect across research repositories across higher education and other research institutions for interoperability across these, and possibly also in working with the federal government in the United States to promote our institutional repositories as an option for researchers to deposit in for free versus with green OA versus needing to pay article processing charges. There are also increasing opportunities for training, and I just have one example highlighted here from NASA's Open Science training. So I'll finish up with just one slide that summarizes, in general, many ways that libraries and library leaders have roles in promoting open science and open research. So at Virginia Tech and also at many libraries that I'm aware of through the Association of College and Research Libraries, through the Medical Library Association, and many others. I see us at Virginia Tech and also many libraries embedding open throughout library services and initiatives. So, for example, working with courses to provide opportunities where a faculty member may structure their entire course around producing an open textbook or a new open monograph that involves the students in developing content chapters for that monograph. Embedding open access in all training provided related to disseminating one's research, which is important to many institutions right now to increase visibility of research and the impact that research has by other people using it in academia, but also in policy and other areas. By providing training, education, and public engagement events. So this can include things very traditional that many of you have likely been involved in, such as open access weeks, promoting all the libraries provide and that the institution provides to support researchers in making their work open access, or to support researchers in developing open data plans, open data sharing. It can also include events that engage the public in a particular research topic and host researchers that have made their work available to the public and give them the opportunity to talk about it, and also provide the public participants with access to that research. Developing, managing technical infrastructure, that is what USETDA is all about. The electronic thesis and dissertation infrastructure is a huge benefit to open science and open research. And as our institutional repositories that we had a workshop about yesterday, and the many other types of infrastructure that including library publishing initiatives and more that libraries provide. Libraries also provide access to community or coalition infrastructure. So for example, I know Nabi mentioned some ways people can deposit their data. So like, for example, at Virginia Tech, we provide access and support to our researchers for depositing their data in ICPSR for social sciences data, for example, or supporting people in preparing their data to submit to other community infrastructure. Libraries develop and promote licensing models to encourage open use. So, for example, for text and data mining, libraries have been big players in working with publishers to develop licensing to advocate for licenses that allow researchers to pull certain amounts of data, or preferably as much as possible, for text and data mining processes to expand our knowledge and opportunities for research. Another example of that is the transformative read and publish agreements that allow researchers at institutions with these agreements to not only have access to publishers' journals for their own research, but also provides either a discount or free access to publish their research, open access in those journals. Those are changing most likely with the new changes to public access, but I expect libraries to continue to be key players in advocating for licensing and other publishing models that allow us to share research and access research for our use. We help build institutional culture. So working together across our institutions in governance areas such as faculty senates, staff senates, graduate student associations, or organizations. We promote open research and open science practices in these, and connect people who are advocates and strong proponents of open access and open science across our institutions to develop new ideas. We are very involved in partnerships within our institution. As an example, at Virginia Tech, we have strong partnerships with our Office of Research that have made it possible for us to develop and move through governance and open access policy, as well as have input and help develop the institution's open policies around data sharing. We also partner to promote use of researcher identifiers such as ORCID and public profiles. And as many libraries do, these are just examples from Virginia Tech, but I know many libraries and many institutions have strong partnerships with libraries across their institutions and also across professional associations, such as the Association for Research Libraries and other coalitions like SPARC or Center for Open Science. And the last part I'll mention is policy contributions and building public awareness. So libraries have been strong advocates in the information policy world, and in many ways we contribute to responses for requests for information from government agencies to promote the best options for open access and public access policies that come about from the government. A recent example would be the National Institutes of Health recent request for information on funding publication costs through NIH funding. SPARC led many conversations there. Libraries were connected with the Authors Alliance. Many library associations provided comments. For example, the Medical Library Association worked with the American Association for Hospital Libraries to put forth recommendations for how to approach that and to encourage options that would reduce costs for researchers and institutions and promote green OA, including the possibility for NIH supporting use of institutional repositories for researchers to deposit their works rather than as an option in addition to other agency-provided repositories. So at this point, I will we can move to Q&A if you have any questions for Nabi or for me, and also to open floor discussion. And we wanted to invite you all to share your perspectives and examples for promoting open science, whether you have examples of national legislation or policy, platforms and infrastructure that you think is really important to highlight, collaborative initiatives, obstacles you see, other opportunities, or libraries or institution roles.
Thank you very much, Ginny, for such a thought-provoking sharing of your experiences, and it was really excellent presentation. So before I invite attendees to share their perspective, ProQuest supports open science by expanding access to dissertations, theses, and great literature, making unique research outputs widely discoverable through open platforms. It also partners with libraries and institutions to integrate open access content into global scholarly workflows, enhancing visibility, reuse, and collaboration. So with this, I would like to invite Austin, if Austin can share ProQuest part in open science quickly. Austin,
Hi.
can you please help
Yes, hi
us
Nabi. Yes, thank
understand?
you. And thank you, Ginny. What a great presentation. Yes, open science is a wonderful topic that's grown since ProQuest started sponsoring both ETD and USETDA over 10 years ago. And it's wonderful to see it grow. And as a publisher, we need to keep on top of the open access movement and ensure that we're aligned with what scholars and universities want to do related to open science. So we have various open access publishing options and publishing models that if you don't know about, that if you're listening, feel free to look at our website or ping myself or the other folks from ProQuest that are at the conference. But I just wanted to say thank you very much. We're very honored to sponsor again this year. It's always a wonderful experience, and I come from the conference learning so much. So I don't want to take any more time from the good question and answer session I'm sure we're going to have. So I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Austin, for supporting this initiative from last 1 decade. Thank you so very much. So, do we have Catherine here to present or share Canadian perspective? Catherine, are you there? Yeah, Catherine, thank you very much for joining this time. And thank you very much. You seems to be very fresh to share your thoughts and very proactive. Thank you so very much. Can you please help us understand your perspective from Canadian point of view? Thank you. Over to you.
I can certainly try. If there are any other Canadians here, or anybody else that knows the Canada context, feel free to jump in. And it does sound like a lot of our kind of local strategies and things that we need to focus on locally are the same. We follow Spark, we promote ORCID, we promote Creative Commons licenses, all these kinds of things are all the same. But maybe from the national perspective and how that trickles down, maybe that could be a little bit different. So in Canada, our open science agenda is driven by our tri-agencies, our national research funders, and our infrastructure funder. So our researchers get grants. Sometimes some of that trickles into the institution. Right now, we have a couple of consultations underway for changes in policies. We do have a research data deposit policy, but the data deposit part has not been mandated yet. And so we're waiting for that mandate to come. So researchers do have to have a data management plan right now. They have to, and the institution has to have a research data policy, but our data deposit policy has not gone into effect. So we're not forcing researchers to do that. And that's been delayed. We're hoping that that comes out early next year. And we have a revision coming to our tri-agency policy on open access publications. Right now, we do have the green open access within 12 months of publication for anything that's funded by our tri-agencies. But we're trying to change that to immediate green OA. And we're hoping again that comes out early next year. We'll see, because they've been under debate for some of them many years at this point in time. In terms of infrastructure, our institutional repositories, that was like really localized. Everybody had kind of their own institutional repository, and then data repositories, that was what was happening as well. But there's been some work on building national repositories. And so for our data repositories, we have a couple of national data repositories, and then local institutions are kind of subscribing to them, and it's supported through consortia to subscribe through a banded funding model. So our bigger organizations have to pay a bit more than our smaller organizations or institutions. And that's been happening over the last couple of years for our institutional repositories as well, where they've started an infrastructure for a national institutional repository infrastructure. We each have our own repository in there, but we're slowly moving in that direction as well, so that we're not kind of dispersing all of our energies and with local infrastructure and maintaining that locally. We're trying to build our local work around the advocacy work, instruction, engagement kind of work for our faculty, for our researchers, so that we're spending more time just doing the curatorial and outreach and engagement work. Our consortium are really key in all of that infrastructure work. We have a couple of different consortia across Canada that work on this, and we're kind of trying to work on it together so that, again, we're not duplicating efforts with building repository infrastructure or licensing for open access licensing or anything like that. They're trying to really be strategic in who is doing what. Some of the challenges that we see in Canada can be around that research funding because it is controlled federally, so they're national funders, but post-secondary education is funded provincially. And so some of that does not align between the provinces and the federal government and the funding and how that flows in. And then the infrastructure is funded through like local institutions, and then the consortia is supporting it. And so that grant funding, if it goes directly to our researchers, we don't see that for the infrastructure. It doesn't come back to the library. So some of that kind of piece, we're trying to work on different types of funding models and advocacy to get more funding for the local work that needs to happen, to hire more people locally for like curation work or something like that, to make sure we're getting good deposits into whatever repositories we get. So right now we are seeing a lot of advocacy around more people moving to the national repositories, advocacy with our government to get more funding to some of these areas in open science that we see locally that we have the need, and that's happening through our consortia. And a lot of that funding does filter in through our research kind of departments, but like we're trying to align that so the libraries are getting a piece of that pie as well. I think that's kind of what's happening over here.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for sharing your perspective. In fact, with your input, I think the session has become really interesting. And we now have 3 perspectives. That's interesting to see. Is there anyone who may like to share his or her perspective as well, like institutional or maybe a country's perspective, or some thoughts? Anyone? Otherwise, I will take up a couple of questions which are there in the chat. Is there anyone who may like to share? You can unmute yourself and then you can use your video as well for sharing your perspective.
John Hagan had a question.
Yeah, please.
Oh, hi. Nabi, I was just going to refer back to the question that I put in the chat, and this is maybe more directed to Ginny, although you may have some perspective in terms of the what's going on in India. But in terms of funding for open access programs, and particularly in the United States, without getting into too much politics, a lot of changes, as Jenny alluded to, have happened. And I really didn't realize the impact when she also brought up the fact of various scholars being able to visit the United States or be recruited from abroad and so forth. And all of those priorities have changed. So certainly that has made an impact, but what can we do to make that situation better or counteract and continue the open science, the spirit of open science?
Well, others may have more suggestions. I would say I have definitely seen a lot of advocacy from across the public and industry, as well as across higher ed institutions. So it feels like although more restrictions have been put in place in some ways, there's still strong support for global collaboration. And I think just, increasing our advocacy in whatever ways we can, often through professional associations or coalitions like Spark that allow us to have a stronger voice. That's not just one individual or one institution. APLU is another opportunity. If you're in a public land-grant institution, that is. But yeah, I would say working in through coalitions is probably one of our best opportunities, and talking directly with legislators to show them the examples of detailed examples of how international collaboration and open science makes new innovation possible, especially for industry and for public benefit. I think definitely seems like many people have had success with that. And Spark has noted that they are still seeing support for open research and open science and open access, which is great to hear when they work with funding agencies.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ginny. And we have very good feedback in the chat box from Randy that our data management librarian works with the student to put data in an appropriate repository, including our IR. We register DOIs for our ATDs and connect it to the data, and as much as possible try to connect to grant information so that both of these appear in the DOIs. Due to local limitation, we do not include ORCIDs for the authors in our DOI metadata. We manage our own data repository at Iowa State, but using it, it is not required. So we are seeing a slow increase in data set that support ETD. So in the interest of our time, I think, John, we can like wrap up this session. We have just 2 to 3 minutes left. So can I go ahead with wrapping up? Okay.
Absolutely, the floor is yours.
Okay. So thank you all for joining this plenary on open science across borders. So now we have shared borders of India, US, and Canada as well. So today's discussion highlighted that while India and US are united in their commitment to open science, their pathways reflect different priorities. India focusing on democratization of access through initiatives like One Nation, One Subsystem. We have kept some good amount for the APCs as well through this national initiative, while the US advances through federal mandates, fair data principles, and institutional infrastructures that emphasize transparency and reproducibility. Both approaches face shared challenges around sustainability, inclusivity, financial models, and the need to realign research evaluation systems so that openness is properly recognized and rewarded. We were reminded that libraries and librarians are not only service providers but vital enablers of open science, supporting repositories, transformative agreements, not only service providers but vital enablers of open science. Then globally, the momentum is clear from UNESCO's open science recommendation to national level policies, positioning open science as a collective responsibility for accelerating discovery and ensuring equitable access to knowledge. India and the US can complement each other, with India contributing scale and inclusivity, and the US bringing innovation and robust infrastructure. As we close, let us remember that openness is not an end in itself, but a means to solve global challenges, and its success depends on collaboration across borders. On behalf of the panel, I thank you, my co-panelists, Ginny, and also Catherine, and also the attendees who shared their views. And I'm especially thankful to Austin for his presence throughout the session and for supporting this event from last 1 decade. And all of you who actively participated in this panel. I encourage you to carry forward this dialogue within your institutions and networks so that open science becomes a truly global reality. Thank you very much, and over to you, John, if you have anything to say as a closing remarks.
Nothing in particular other than we have a short break here, and we will reconvene with the next sessions will be parallel sessions. So please stay tuned at 3:40 p.m. Eastern.
Right. Thank you very much. It's 1 a.m. And it's 27 September now. So I will be joining back after 5 hours. Let me take some sleep, and I will be joining at 6 a.m. India time. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.